Morning, everybody. This is Vishal from Evosys. Thanks for dialing in. It's 9:03 on the Pacific time zone. We'll get started. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining for this interesting manufacturing webinar topic that we have planned today. My name is Vishal, and I'll be your host for the webinar today. Joined with me is Wasim and Vivek, who are our subject matter experts and practice leaders within the manufacturing and distribution space. They'll walk you through the different challenges and the solutions that we are offering, along with some of the trends that we're seeing given we have these challenging times. From a logistics, you are on mute, but that doesn't mean you should not ask questions. Please feel free to drop questions on the chat, and I'll be the moderator and run it through our presenters as well. Okay, Wasim, let's flip to the next slide. Before we get into our topic, just wanted to do a quick introduction on who Evosys is, and then we'll get into the meat of the topic. So Evosys, we are a Oracle system implementer, and what that means is we've taken about 1,200 customers across the finish line over the years, and our expertise is within the entire back office space: ERP, EPM, HCM, the entire gamut of ERP and ancillary applications that are needed to support. We also have a practice around some of the innovative capabilities that we're seeing in the marketplace, whether it's chatbot or leveraging some of the IoT capabilities. And you'll see a few sprinklings and examples of those in our presentation today. And we also recognize that a lot of manufacturing customers, they do have operations in different parts of the world, and we do have folks across that are able to support global implementations and support across anywhere in the world. And some of our unique differentiators is our value-based delivery that we'll talk more about it. But for us, hitting a certain milestone, which is a go live, is just one of the milestones. Where we see value for our customers is in achievement of business objectives. And what that means is we work with customers, we define business KPIs that we would want to hit. And those KPI achievements are, where truly, you get the benefit of your investment on the cloud. So that's, one of our unique differentiators. And let's switch to the next slide, Wasim. We'll talk about some of our recognitions. Just a quick note, over the last 3 consecutive years, Evosys has been chosen as the Partner of the Year award. And this is a prestigious award given out by Oracle for recognition for our customer success and thought leadership we bring to the marketplace. Next slide, Wasim. In addition to the award from Oracle, a lot of customers, they do look at the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. And we're happy to report that we were ranked #1 in customer satisfaction by Gartner. And there are only about 15, I would say, system implementers, Oracle implementers that made that list. And Evosys was #1 in customer satisfaction. Okay, just before we get into the meat of the things, let's look at the logo on the next slide. We have taken about 75 customers just within the manufacturing space over to some of the Oracle solutions that we'll talk about. And this is just a sampling of customers. They are anywhere from 50 million in revenue to 10 billion in revenue. Some of these names may be widely recognized, and some of them are also niche in the industry where we saw some of the unique challenges. And the next slide is around just more logos in the North American market. Again, different spectrum of industry. They're all manufacturers, anywhere from high tech over to some of the oil and gas companies that we have implemented manufacturing solutions for. Okay, so without further ado, I'll pass it over to Wasim, who is our subject matter expert within the manufacturing space, to walk you through some of the trends, challenges, and the solution that we built to help customers.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Wasim, and as mentioned by Vishal, I'll take you through the solutions and the challenges in the manufacturing space. So to start with, we'll be discussing about the current scenario or the unprecedented times which are going on, and everyone has been impacted because of that, and manufacturers or distributors are no exception to it. So if we try to identify or try to relate what are the current business impacts or the challenges which the manufacturers are facing, the first and the foremost one which comes into our mind on the supply chain aspect is the fluctuations either in the demand or the supply. There has been an unplanned rise or a fall in the demand for many products, either it be essentials or any products. If we talk about high-tech industry or if we talk some specific electronics industries that have also been impacted. This had a widespread impact. It does not just impact the organization, it impacts directly the supply chain operations. And when we say supply chain operations, as you can see certain statistics, 78.3% of the manufacturers are anticipating a financial impact because of these changes. Along with that, if we go on to more details of the supply chain impact, the fluctuating material lead times, either because of the disruption in the supply chain network, you can see the impact is as high as 35.5% of the manufacturers are facing supply chain disruptions. These disruptions are not just limited to material or equipments. These are extending to workforce because of the travel restrictions or medical conditions. There has been a reduction in the workforce, and certain organizations are required to shift to a more continuous manufacturing process or a change in operation pattern. Shorter lot sizes, the manufacturing cycles cannot go on in a full swing. The shorter times to market, there might be a product launch which might have been viewed just before this COVID situation, but now that all things have to be revamped. This has impacted, as you can see again, statistics on that, 53.1% of the manufacturers are currently anticipating a change in operation. This change in operations are going to be widespread. These are not just a change, the type of labor or the equipments which are being used, but it would later on also involve certain aspects of health or safety and how we are ensuring the safety on the shop floor and the warehouses. So this is also one of the key challenge. The final and the foremost one, which we understand, is for the distribution set of industries, wherein we have to deliver a lot of big orders or exports, but then there is a time constraint because of the lockdowns and other travel restrictions. So now, to overall summarize, the major impact is on a supply chain disruption. To detail out more on how Oracle or how Evosys can be a part of a solution on some of the key aspects of the COVID-19 challenges. The first and the foremost one would be the supply chain execution suite. If I talk about therein, the production and a supply chain planning might serve as a key or an important solution in terms of planning forecasting the demand. Along with that, a lean manufacturing, which was on the pages for manufacturing industries from a long time, but now there is a real requirement of agile manufacturing. Along with that, an automation on the IoT production monitoring is going to be a key requirement. The deliveries or the distribution companies are going to require continuous transportation management, which should have a dynamic planning for an accurate delivery and accurate route planning. The efficiency is going to be a key thing. Also with that, there are certain solutions which are available on Oracle, which would be giving a customer-based supply allocation. So because of the travel restrictions or export regulations being monitored, there might be a requirement of a separate pricing strategy for the domestic or international customers. So Oracle has a solution in that regard, wherein there are continuously fluctuating pricing strategies which can be coped as per the demand patterns. To ensure a paperless supply chain or achieving distancing at the workplace, mobile supply chain might be a key solution, which in next upcoming slides, I'll take you or give you a glimpse around that. IoT for connected worker, the last point which I have mentioned, is going to be an important point because real-time worker status tracking would be required even when the restrictions are over, or if the work is resumed in a regular pattern. The real-time monitoring is going to be a key thing. To achieve the solutions or to transition it, Evosys implements Oracle solutions with different models, nearshore implementation or offshore implementation. And in our upcoming slides, we will take you into more detail on the implementations. Along with that, Evosys has an experience on rapid implementation services. We have done manufacturing implementations as quick as 16 weeks or 15 weeks, where we have implemented the manufacturing or supply chain execution suite. I'll take you more into the Evosys expertise on the overall supply chain ecosystem. So Vishal earlier talked about certain logos. If I talk about Evosys experience in terms of manufacturers or distributors, or as an overall supply chain expertise, you can see Evosys has a wide bouquet of customers where we cover the entire ecosystem, right from the product lifecycle management companies, where there is a continuous research and development going on, next to the manufacturers or the maintenance service providers, next going to the distributor and the logistics, and right to the retailers. So some of the logos you might be able to recognize. These are global logos. If you need more details on any of that, Vishal and I would be happy to answer. If now we go on to the generic challenges of the industry. So the first set of challenges which we talked about are more of relevant on the current times which are going on. However, there has been certain key industry challenges for manufacturers and distributors which were existing before the situations. And I would talk a bit about them on this slide. One of the key things which you see or the topmost thing is the product life cycles. The product life cycles have been shrinking. And they have been shrinking over the period of time, where now in the current time, it has been the manufacturers are required to innovate in a very aggressive way. And what it has created a challenge, the product release targets have to be very aggressive. Now, an absence of a product lifecycle management application or a complete suite of that would create a lot of problems for a research and development or an engineering team for a continuous product lifecycle. Along with that, nowadays there has been an increased MaaS model wherein manufacturing as a service is coming up. Contract manufacturers or outsourced manufacturing is also on the rise. If we talk about new startups or manufacturers which have recently started, the model which they adapt to is outsourced manufacturing. But if we talk about outsourced manufacturing, there is a continuous requirement of visibility. The lack of visibility might impact the quality of the product, and in turn, it impacts the cost and the financial trial balance. The unexpected rises in demand and supply chain operations has been on the page from long ago. So COVID situation has just increased it. However, this was there. So the unexpected surprises in demand and supply are impacting many of the manufacturers. Along with that, there has been certain regulations in regard to end-to-end traceability. Product genealogy has been a key industry challenge, wherein end-to-end traceability, right from the shop floor of manufacturing to the end customer or the retailer to which the product was provided, is currently a challenge, wherein to facilitate, there is a requirement to have a product recall or quality assurance or compliance and sustainability requirements. Fragmented and disintegrated processes, like either using a application for manufacturing or using a sales application, this also creates a challenge into the business in terms of the backend ERP applications. To just put it into statistics, you can see 48% of the manufacturers currently feel the challenge wherein adapting to the new manufacturing technologies is becoming a problem. Why? The reason being the support from the business or the support from the other ERP applications. So there is continuously a need for a one single system which can either take it from the supply chain to the financials or an end-to-end application. So these are certain statistics. Next, I'll move on to the solution. So these were all the set of challenges which we are facing either on the COVID situation or the regular industry challenges. Now, what Oracle has to offer on the solution side is you can see a complete suite. The supply chain execution, it starts from planning, making, and optimizing. So if you try to divide the manufacturing, which is currently being done, you might divide in first as the planning step, wherein the forecasts are taken up, supply planning is done with sales and operation planning, then moves into an accurate promising of the order. So accurate promising plays a vital role in terms of customer satisfaction and logistics operation. Moving on to the manufacturing, so Oracle solution, this entire set of applications are available on Oracle, wherein the discrete and process manufacturing industries can be catered to. So it is not restricted to any one particular manufacturing industries. Oracle has on the experience of implementing, Oracle and Evosys has experience of implementing for different kind of industries, either it be a beverage industry or a high-tech industry or a pharma industry. So all the industries fit onto the manufacturing suite. So if I take you into a connected business process flow, the plan, make, and optimize, it starts from the PLM process, wherein an R&D team is involved. They are continuously engaged in developing solutions or developing products for the market. Then it moves on to the second set, wherein the actual execution takes place, manufacturing and assembly, logistics, and supply chain network is established. And once that has been done, then there is a continuous need for optimization. So when we talk about optimization, we talk more about M&As, or we are talking about IoT or block. Next, I'll move on to the set of solutions which Oracle has to offer on the entire supply chain cloud. So apart from the supply chain execution, if you talk about product lifecycle, Oracle offers an entire end-to-end solution, right from the innovation management, project management, product development, and commercializing your product. So in order to achieve the aggressive product launch targets, ideate to commercialize is the entire end-to-end solution for product lifecycle management. The source to settle solution, the current system of source to settle requires a continuous engagement of suppliers, along with that, the qualification and contract. So Oracle has an end-to-end source, contract, purchase, and settle solutions available out of the box. Order to cash set of modules or applications offer you right from the configuration. Either you capture the demand of the customers, you configure the product as per the customer requirements, and promise it as per the sourcing rules when you are able to commit or deliver the product, and then pass it on to your logistics and the distribution network. A strong plan to produce a set of modules or applications provide a backbone for manufacturing, where you start with supply chain planning, execute manufacturing, involve in quality management involving CAPA and other quality issues and actions, with a strong inventory and costing and supply chain orchestration. For maintenance related industries, every manufacturing industry would be engaged in a maintenance, either it be an internal plant maintenance or customer asset maintenance. So Oracle provides an end-to-end solution for maintain to optimize, and this does not stop over here. This also extends to a suite of a CX module, where the service request capturing and the entire warranty management aspects are covered in the solution. So these are all parts of the Oracle Supply Chain Cloud. Now, we as an Evosys, as an implementer, and we have done a lot of implementations on manufacturing and distribution front. And based on that, we have developed certain accelerators which speed up the implementation process, or wherein we extend the current suite of Oracle applications. So these are certain applications or certain extensions which Evosys have built based on experience. So you can see certain equipment tracking. So one of the solution which might be a very important solution for an install-based industry, where we are talking about equipment assembly industry, where there are 5,000 or 10,000 parts going into one single assembly of an equipment. There might be a continuous need of identifying when was the part last replaced, or what was the need for it, when did the customer ask for a change, whether it is in warranty or not warranty. So the equipment tracking is one of the key solutions. Along with that, if we talk about on the planning aspects, you can see the demand forecasting analysis. So we have, based on our experience, we have developed a demand forecast analysis, which provides you a real-time visibility into what the demand is going to be based on the seasonality and pattern. We have certain transportation related extensions where you can see non-transport fleet management. So if you are into a business wherein you do not want to do a fleet management, but it is of the vessels and other aspects, we have a lighter solution which is non-transport fleet management, which we will talk in upcoming slides. Warehouse 360, which you can see on the right hand side, it is a mobile supply chain solution wherein we provide you the mobile supply chain on the warehouse. So I'll go into more details about that solution, how the look and feel is. So it tightly integrates with the Oracle cloud solution, and it provides a scanning and a label printing related solutions, wherein because of which there are a lot of inaccuracies and delay in warehouse operations. So the answer to that is Warehouse 360, where scanning and label printing, you can customize your own label formats, and that can go and integrate with Oracle solutions. So we have certain snapshots on how the mobile solution looks like. If you want more details into it, you can contact Vishal, and we would be happy to do a more detailed demo on how the Warehouse 360 works. So certain more snaps on that, and this is how the Warehouse 360 looks. I'll next move on to the IoT. So this future, or I would say this has been on the cards for a while, and now slowly and gradually manufacturers are moving towards an IoT-based supply chain. So when we say on IoT-based supply chain, you can see there are three key areas wherein currently Oracle provides the solution. Where the first and foremost one is the after sales and support. When we talk about after sales and support, we have an strong solution on the IoT front along with manufacturing. So if you want to real-time visibility on what is happening on the floor, or there has to be a seamless execution of manufacturing, this entire seamless process can be achieved using IoT. IoT for fleet monitoring is another example where the monitoring of the fleet vehicles and your assets would be possible. We have done implementations around that, and we are also going to discuss a case study today for the logistics of fleet monitoring IoT solution.
And if I can add, Wasim, just for the benefit of the audiences, we're trying to give them enough in a broad stroke around the solution landscape. Each of these solutions, if you go into the demo, they can run for hours and hours. So the idea is to give you, enough of a good perspective around solutions. And I'm sure, if audiences are interested, we can do a follow-up with more specific targeted demos. But we'll cover some screenshots. We'll, give you enough of the broad stroke landscapes to orient your thoughts around how we can help with some of your challenges. Go ahead, Wasim.
Okay, thank you, Vishal. So next, I'll hand it over to Vivek, who leads the logistics front, and he will take you through more details on the logistics side. Vivek.
Thank you, Wasim. Hello, everyone. And I'll be shortly covering Oracle Transportation Management. That is the offering from Oracle for all the needs of transportation industry, and then I'll quickly take you through the IoT fleet monitoring features and what experience we have and our methodologies of implementation. So starting with Oracle Transportation Management. So OTM is in itself a suite for transportation industry. It was built as a standalone product, which is very much integratable with all the Oracle solutions, and at the same time non-Oracle ERPs too. So in a way, it is ERP agnostic, and at the same time very much exhaustive, and covers all the business areas of distribution, may it be from the manufacturer side or may it be from a 3PL or a transporter perspective. So the key features or the key offerings which OTM gives is you can have a global control, so you can have global policies defined across multiple locations, maybe within a country, multiple international centers, or through continents, and you can have the same policy of distribution followed everywhere. But at the same time, because when we talk about transportation, there's a lot of local flavor which comes into play, and local regulations and local requirements, geographical requirements. So all those can be handled through the local execution part. So your policies can be global, but at the same time, You can manage local execution within OTM as per your region of operation. It is IoT enabled, so there are built-in plug-in features, plug-and-play options available between IoT fleet monitoring and OTM. So OTM being the backbone of the transportation planning part. So OTM in itself is a tool which helps you plan and execute the transportation and the orders of transportation and shipping. However, it needs a live tracking system to give you the updates, real-time updates of your shipments once they are out on the road. So that's where the IoT comes into play. So that's where it becomes very much handy to implement IoT and OTM together. At the same time, because it has been developed for more than 2 decades now, it's a pretty mature application. And so it already has seamless integration capabilities available with almost all the applications under the sun. So you name the ERP which is out there in the market, and OTM has the capability to integrate through it. At the same time, Oracle has come up with built-in intelligence into OTM, and they started this with OTM Cloud. So with OTM Cloud comes the Fusion Transportation Intelligence, which has built-in KPIs, which are very specific to transportation area, and it gives you different performance indicators like cost per kilometer, cost per mile, uh, uh, volume you are transporting per mile, weight you are transporting, your utilization percentages, your optimization percentages, and at the same time even the system KPIs, as in how much time does the OTM take to plan your orders and execute them. The another part of OTM suite is global trade management, which mainly deals with global compliance. So when you are transporting between different countries and continents, there is a lot of compliance which comes into play. So your customs, your filing of different documents, your letters of credit, everything and all the documents required from start to the end and through the different ports in between can be handled through OTM. And because yes, it's a global solution, so multi-language, multi-currency support, and because it is on cloud now, and at the same time having all the features of an on-prem application, it is quickly deployable and easily operational. So that's a quick overview of OTM. We'll go to the next slide. So this is a snapshot of a new feature in OTM called Workbench. So it has come in before last 3 releases. So here you can see it is pretty much interactive and at the same time intuitive, and it has all the different capabilities of integrating with different type of maps. So it can be Oracle Spatial, it can be year maps, it can be any other third-party maps with which we can integrate OTM. So in Workbench, what it does is it creates very user-friendly dashboards where you can see all the open orders, at the same time the orders which have been put onto a shipment, or one order has been into multiple shipments, and then also you can put it on a map and see at a glance that how many orders are moving in which direction, and you don't have to go and do any analysis on that. It's pretty much visible on the map, and you know that which region has more transportation needs in your area of operations. And at the same time you have different features like multi-stop transportation, multi-leg transportation, multimodal transportation, and all that is available visually over a map, so you know that your one order is passing through how many different hands, how many different companies in between, and where you, if you want to track it, where it has reached. So it comes as a very handy feature to the transportation planners and the shipment planners. Next slide, Vaseem. So next is the IoT, that is IoT fleet monitoring offering from Oracle. It is a part of the IoT family, or the different products which Oracle offers as a part of IoT family. And we have successfully implemented IoT with OTM in one of our 3PL client in Philippines. So here you can see how interactive and how real-time IoT fleet monitoring is. Here the only requirement was that the driver has to connect or open a link through his mobile phone browser, and that's pretty much it. And everything else the system does on its own. You don't need to invest on any other hardware, any costly hardwares, and install them on the vehicles. If you want to just have a quick win and start using this product, this is the bare minimum that is required. So if I would say nothing at all required in terms of extra hardware cost. So the mobile phones of the drivers are good enough for it. So it gives many extra features as compared to what OTM offers in terms of planning. So OTM offers you a better planning tool, whereas IoT offers you better monitoring tool. So here you get features like geofencing and different alerts, whether there is a hard braking or what is the mileage the driver is achieving. At the same time, whether the shipment is delayed, on time, before time, and if the driver has stopped at a stop for more than the required time. So all these features are available out of the box in IoT fleet monitoring, and it is easily integratable with OTM with minimal efforts. Going next. So that was about the distribution offerings from Oracle and the different features in that. Now coming to our implementation model of this type of projects when we talk about manufacturing and distribution. So we have three different areas on how we implement. So some sessions of our projects are happening on site, which mainly deal with training sessions or CRP sessions, workshops. In current COVID situation, of course, we do it remotely, and we can proudly say that we have not seen any drop in terms of productivity when we are taking the planned on-site sessions from our homes, and our team has been executing it flawlessly. So these on-site sessions can be delivered and are being delivered through work from home models. At the same time, we have nearshore sessions where the teams are working partially through the day with the key users, and those involve mainly the phases like system design, data migration, report development, which requires uh, pretty frequent discussions, and then the longer phases wherein our team has to sit down and develop system or configure systems that are mainly considered as offshore, which involves documentation and testing of the application or configuration. And when we say offshore, it is mainly our headquarters and different technology centers in India, and our center of excellence team also sits here. So every industry has a assigned center of excellence team, and the people with the experience in those industry take up the solution designing and review and audit of the solutions, and ensure that the solutions going out to our clients are of a certain minimum quality. So that's the implementation model which we are following across for all our MRD projects. Moving to next slide. So when we talk overall about the supply chain offerings of Oracle, so you would see that they are mainly designed considering the different players in the supply chain. And when we say players, it is nothing but different voices in the supply chain. So it starts from voices of your internal departments like engineering and design. So if they are doing something innovative, if they are coupling, decoupling products, if they are building different BOMs, how it can be captured. So that is where the product data hub, PDH, and ideation models come into play, wherein your engineering and design team can use those modules. Then once those ideas are near to commercialization, we move towards CS, CPQ, and order management, wherein the voice or the details of your customer, the needs of customer are captured in those modules. So it deals with designing your pricing models, offering best prices to your customers, recording those, at the same time quotation management, and at the end the order management. And then once the orders are booked, there comes the materials planning, that is mainly the SCM, wherein the inventory, manufacturing, quality, and all those different aspects come into play. And once the voice of factory, that is manufacturing, is captured, then comes the shipping and logistics, where the products like OTM, WMS, global trade management, they ensure that the manufactured products are properly transported through different channels to your customers and they are tracked well. And as we discussed that in many places, IoT is now the next wave, which ensures that no part in your supply chain goes without real-time monitoring. So that's where the real-world field use of IoT comes into play. And once you have sold your products, it's all the more important to build the customer trust by providing better after-sales service, and that's where the service and depot repair modules of Oracle help us out. So throughout the supply chain, we see that Oracle has positioned the perfect products to ensure that the different voices in the supply chain are properly captured. Moving to the next slide. Now, there are different paths to achieve a certain stage of cloud applications. So because it's a modular structure, it can be packaged in many different ways. So you can either go by your departments, you can either go by different areas, different modules of Oracle. Wasim, if you can click next.
So this is a great, crawl, walk, run approach. We have customers that are interested in doing a big bang modernization of soup to nuts. And then on the other side of the pendulum, we got customers who may be running different applications and may be looking for a point solution. So the idea is that, and Vivek will walk you through, the solutions are quite modular. We can implement and make improvements as per the appetite of an organization.
Thanks, Vishal.
Go ahead.
So on the left side, the blue boxes which you see are the standalone products offered by Oracle. When we say standalone, means they are outside the Fusion applications, but at the same time tightly integrated with Fusion applications. So supply chain planning, warehouse management, and OTM, GTM can be implemented with Fusion and other ERP systems too. So they can become a kind of gateway to Oracle applications if there is already a legacy ERP system implemented and in use. And we can start with these three modules and then slowly move toward the cloud. Then if we go by the different phases, so generally organizations prefer to start with the financials. So that's where the Fusion financials come into phase one. So that defines your organization structure, that defines your legal structure, that defines your chart of accounts, and ensures that from the financial perspective, the structure and the requirements are properly met and configured. And once the financials are in place, the natural progression is to procurement and inventory. If it's only services, it would be just procurement and not inventory. So phase two generally goes into ensuring that your financials solution is extended to P2P, that is purchase to pay, wherein starting with the requisitions comes the POs and then the receiving and accounts payables. So that's how the phase two would look like in a normal progression. And then phase three would go towards the sales side of it. So once we are covered with the purchasing side, we move towards the order to cash cycle, wherein the order management, supply chain orchestration, and supply chain and finance orchestrations come into play. And from the division side, you have covered till now the financials, procurement, inventory, and ordering division. And once both the ends of the supply chain are properly configured, that is P2P and O2C, you would implement the advanced modules of Fusion, that is manufacturing and planning central, demand management, quality, maintenance. These modules would come as a part of advanced offerings. And once you have your base ready, you would move towards the phase four. So that are different paths available in terms of implementing Oracle Fusion. So it is complementary, incremental, or transformational. So it's purely the choice of the organization who want to implement. Moving to the next slide. So now I'll hand it over back to Vishal to take up the future slides.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek. And just to recap for the audiences, we started with some of the challenges that we're seeing in the industry, what trends we're also seeing around cost cutting and process improvements. And then we walked you through the different solutions that are available both on the manufacturing and distribution space. And the previous slide was more around how we implement these solutions, whether it's a big bang or are there point solutions that can bring rapid value to you and not, wait months to get the benefits. And we'll open it up for Q&A in a minute, but I wanted to again highlight, I kind of touched on this earlier during the intro, our value-based delivery. But again, it's COVID times and cash conservation is the mantra for a lot of the companies. But a lot of companies are also using this time to walk that tightrope on modernizing their applications so that they're really set up for, I would say, success once, we come back to normalcy. Timing TBD, but that's, the big question. So given, a lot of, companies are in this cash conservation mode, our implementation approach adopts a fixed price deployment. And our goal is essentially to reduce the risk on your customer side and still give you the benefit of the investment that you intend to make. And the way we do it is A, fixed price, B, even, as we progress along the implementation path, you release payments where we only hit certain milestones. And the biggest differentiators is the point number 3, where again, we'll work with you, we'll define what are the business objectives you want to meet as part of this initiative. And we put our skin in the game and we get paid only when we hit those business objectives. Like I said, again, just to recap, a go live is just a milestone, but the real value is when we hit those KPIs. So all in all, with this approach, we're eliminating risk from the table completely and giving you a really solid methodology with great commercials. Okay, Wasim, let's go to slide 31, which is pretty much the end slide, and then we'll just open it up for Q&A. And just wanted to again summarize the value of choosing both Evosys and Oracle as your business partner. Certainly, manufacturing and distribution is a complex topic, but we've really made it easy with our implementation across numerous customers, and we can bring that best practices to you. Okay, so having said that, let's unmute, and if there are any questions, we're happy to take questions at this point. And we'll certainly, follow up with we'll email you the slide deck that we reviewed today, so that way you have a copy. Okay. Assuming no questions, which means, both Wasim and Vivek did such a great job and explained everything in crystal clarity. And question from Ken. Yep, Ken, I'll email you the deck. Okay, all right. Anything else? If not, we'll give you back 12 minutes and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.